Hi and welcome back to Supply Chain Secrets. You'll know that one of my favourite topics is supply chain strategy and KPIs and how all of those things should link together. Well, one of the guys caught me talking about this topic at a recent seminar and I thought I'd share that with you this week. So strategy and KPIs coming right up. Okay, we're going to be talking about supply chain strategy to begin with. How many of the businesses represented here actually have a supply chain strategy? Quick show of hands. Oh, that's shocking. Right, you'll have one after this session. This is going to be a really quick gallop through some of the concepts. If you want to know more about it, come to my session this afternoon and we'll be spending a little bit more time on it. Who has vision and mission statements in their business with pictures like this? You know, we're going to bring health to the world. We're going to bring nutrition to the world. And all of these things are great. Or you often see these ones. You know, we're going to save the planet. What I find a lot of businesses have difficulty in, though, is translating those vision and mission statements into strategies and tactics and actions for their teams. And you see around many businesses, you know, these great vision and mission statements. There's the ones with the sailing boats and all sorts of things. And you wonder, do people in the business really know what it means to them and what they should be doing day to day? And what does it mean for me as a picker in the warehouse? And that's what I'd like to show you very briefly over the next 10 minutes or so, because it only takes 10 minutes to get this, is how to develop a very simple supply chain strategy. So very often what happens, and one of my very dear clients has just done this, the senior leadership team, this is the senior leadership team, coming back from a 3-day offsite. They're coming back all aligned with the strategy, and then they have to try and share this with 20,000 people so that it makes sense. And it doesn't always work, does it? It sometimes doesn't translate. And in fact, this particular client has, I think, 12 pillars in their strategy. And I'm looking at it thinking, what does that actually mean for me as the driver or in the warehouse? And, you know, there's a lot around culture and environment and all that sort of stuff, but which is great. But I think we have to get really focused to nuts and bolts sometimes as well. So whilst the senior leadership team have totally got it, because they've had their 3-day offsite, meet Jim. He's a picker in the warehouse. Jim doesn't quite get it yet. So we have to try and translate that vision and mission for Jim. And that's really what a good strategy is all about. So we really want to dial down from the vision and mission, the goals, to a strategy and then an action plan. And what I see a lot of businesses doing is that they actually work from the bottom up. And they think, we should be doing this for customer service, we should be doing this in our warehousing or transport, or, you know, reducing working capital or whatever it might be, and they're working from the ground roots back up to the strategy. You actually got to do it from the top down. Vision and mission. What's the business trying to achieve? Therefore, what is our supply chain trying to achieve? And funnily enough, a lot of businesses are performing poorly because they don't have that strategy. And it doesn't have to be difficult to put together. You'd be able to put one together by the end of today quite easily. This was a survey done a few years back where supply chain glitches were deemed to reduce shareholder value by, on average, 8.6%. Do you imagine, you know, stock outs or something wrong with products, or, you know, it can have a huge impact on the business. So I'm astounded when people don't have a strategy. This is a survey that we did a few years back now, and just have a look at those figures for a moment. So, has your business actually got a documented supply chain strategy? Only 39% did. And this one, if you don't have that documented strategy, does it impact performance? And 65% said yes. So 61% don't have a strategy, and they're saying, does that impact your performance negatively? Yes. So why don't you make one? It's not that hard. So when we're working with our consulting clients, very often what we're doing is this top-down, bottom-up approach. So we're trying to understand, the bigger goals for the business and bringing that into our strategy, and then the bottom-up sort of functional focus. By all means, take pictures of these slides. I see some people doing that. And we need to develop that into our supply chain strategy. What sort of components need to go into a supply chain strategy? Well, let me just do a brief build of this model. To me, it's about 3 levels of alignment. It's about aligning the business strategy, the finance of the business, and the service, and trying to get those all to focus together. I've got this on a handout for our session this afternoon if you don't want to try drawing it all. And it's interesting when you look at the intersection, what do you call that, a Venn diagram? So when you get the strategic and financial alignment right, you actually get happy shareholders, which is cool. When you get the service alignment and the financial alignment right, you get happy customers. And then when you get the strategy aligning with the service, you get a happy team because they know what they're doing. We know what we're trying to achieve, and we're making the customers happy. In terms of the overall strategy there, it's about developing that, getting clarity on it, and calibrating it, coming back to it year on year to make sure it's still appropriate. In terms of finance, there's probably 3 big chunks there to look at. It's warehousing, it's transport, and it's procurement. And then in terms of service, the 3 big licks there are inventory, policy, and planning. And if you focus on those and not, 24 different things, you start to get towards that 2% performance, the best of the best. How many people here have been in the military? I know we've got a few. Do you remember when they taught you extraction of orders? I suddenly thought of that the other day, and I thought, that's how you develop a strategy. So extraction of orders is very simple. The army group says we're going to recapture Italy. And then the corps is told, you're going to retake Rome. And then the division is told, you're going to take the southeast bit of Rome. And then the battalion is told, you're going to take this suburb. And then, what are we next? The company is told, you're going to take these streets. And then the platoon is told, you're to take this bridge, or whatever it might be. So from that overarching objective, you basically distill down the objective for your individual function or part of the business. So if we looked at that in very simple terms, if the business is trying to enhance a customer experience, as a supply chain group, we might be saying, let's make sure we've always got product in stock. And then what does it mean for the warehouse? Let's make sure that we've got inventory accuracy right, that the stuff's always there when the pickers go to pick it. And then maybe the picking team are saying, let's make sure that we get 99.9% of our picking accurate. So we're distilling it down from the top. That's, in essence, what that sort of whole principle of extraction of orders is. Where I think businesses get it wrong is they have the vision and mission and they say, hey, you guys picking in the warehouse, do you get this? Not really. You need to bridge it for me so I can understand it. And how we bridge that then is very simply in supply chain strategy terms to have 3 clear objectives. And I'll be going through this in detail this afternoon. I'll give you a tip. There's generally 1 around cost, 1 around service, and then maybe 1 around quality of product. So here, always in stock, lowest prices, quality products. From that, we then get our tactics to achieve those objectives. So here it might be around the network and structure and people. And then we develop our measures to actually deliver that. Does that make sense? Very, very simple process, and we'll spend half an hour going through that in a little bit more detail after lunch if you want to be able to do that. Okay, so there we go. Supply chain strategy in 10 minutes. So thank you for joining us again this week. We really appreciate you giving up your time. We also appreciate getting your comments and feedback. So do please comment below. Ask any questions you like. If there's topics that you'd like in the future, let us know, because that's how we can understand what you'd like to watch. And we actually start making our videos that way. So you know how it works. Our videos come out generally on a Wednesday. If you want to be notified about those, do hit the subscribe button. If you hit that bell, you'll get an automatic notification. And if you've enjoyed this channel, do share the channel, invite your friends. The more the merrier, the more questions we get, the more motivation we get to make more videos on supply chain and logistics. So thanks for dropping in, and we'll see you next week.